Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again for another Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. It's been about 2 weeks or so since my last one. I got a big old stack of goodies here to talk to you guys about today. But before I get to the first one, please give this video a thumbs up if you guys like my videos or support them in any way. And also share them around on Facebook and Twitter if you guys, like what you're watching. But let's get on to the first one here from Scream Factory. This is Dark Hall here on Blu-ray, starring Tom Sizemore. The movie's pretty much about this one lady in the 17th century. She's giving birth to her children, and all these people are surrounding her as she's giving birth at the beginning of this movie. And you're like, why are all these people needed to be in this room? But come to find out, this lady is giving birth to a demon, and then she gives birth to this demon and another child, which is half demon, half human. And it's about these secret guardians that are there to keep these demon children under wraps, so the mass public don't ever find out about it. But now this movie flashes forward, into the present day. These demons are still running rampant around the world, around, and these secret guardians are still around, trying to keep them under wraps so people don't know they exist. And in this movie, these secret guardians capture the big demon and try to transport it to a secret location using the demon's sister that was half human, half demon, and try to transport them back, to a secure location so no one will ever know about these demons. And that's pretty much a synopsis of this movie. It takes place on on a big big truck as they're trying to transport it the whole time. But I just really wasn't entertained by it. Like, the special effects kind of really took me out of it, because they look like special effects that you would see in movies back in the early 90s. I know it's a made-for-TV movie and you kind of expect things like that, but I thought the special effects could have been done a little bit better. The acting is fine by Tom Sizemore and the cast. The script could have used a little work in there, but it looks nice on Blu-ray. But just like I said, just the special effects and just the way they, like the blood effects, they just look really kind of cheap and kind of just rushed. But that's Dark Hall here on Blu-ray. Can't really say much more about it because I don't want to give anything else away, but I just really couldn't get into it, guys. Alright guys, and next up from Warner Brothers is a film I'm very excited to talk to you guys about today. I saw it in the movie theaters. I even did a standalone review for this movie back when it came out, and that is The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies here, the 3D edition of it on Blu-ray. This is the third and final, film in the Hobbit franchise. I'm so sad, because I just love this franchise, man. Like, I didn't dive into the Lord of the Rings franchise yet, but the Hobbit ones are the ones I'm introducing myself into the franchise with, and I just ended up loving them, because in this one, the Battle of the Five Armies picks up right off where the Desolation of Smaug left off, where Smaug the dragon is leaving the castle and is about to go burn up the little town, that's nearby. And now the dwarves have just reclaimed the castle and find out that there's all this gold in this castle, and all these other armies find out about this gold that's there, and they want to go there and get it for themselves. And it's the battle between, of course, the five armies and the dwarves that are in there, or elves, whatever. They're in there. They're in their own castle that they just reclaimed, and they're trying to keep it for themselves. As all these different armies, the orcs, the humans, the elves, and all these other armies are trying to come in there, to take what's theirs. And it's of course, the battle between all these armies, and that's pretty much the synopsis of this one. And but on this new 3D Blu-ray here, you get the 3D edition of it on Blu-ray, the regular Blu-ray, and the DVD copy of the film on here. And I gotta say, the 3D was actually pretty good, because I didn't get to see it in the theater on 3D, but on the 3D TV that's in my sister's room, it looks spectacular. You know what I mean? Like, it really shines, especially during like the battle sequences is when it really shows up even more. But on this Blu-ray here, you get a handful of special features. One, when they talk about the making of the recording of the last song of the Five Armies here during the end credits, and how they composed it. And there's a special feature on here. It was like 15 minutes long, talking to some extras that were on the set of the Battle of the Five Armies, and just how much fun they had. How they had to get into makeup every day and all this, crazy stuff. And I kind of found that special feature to be kind of enjoyable. But that was kind of a cool special feature that was on here. But guys, that's The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies here on Blu-ray. It's a no-brainer. You guys have to go pick this one up, man. I just love the Hobbit ones. And next up over here from 20th Century Fox is the third one in the franchise, and that is Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb here on Blu-ray. This is of course still starring Ben Stiller as the night security guard at this museum, and at night the exhibits come alive. And in this one, Ben Stiller finds out about this secret tablet that the museum has, and now something's happening to this tablet, because this tablet's the thing that's keeping these exhibits coming alive every night. And something's happening to this tablet that's gonna make this not happen for him anymore. That he's not gonna have these adventures with his friends like Robin Williams and Attila the Hun and his little monkey friend anymore. So he has to figure out what he can do to get this tablet back in working order again, and it's the fun along the way. And I gotta say, this is probably my favorite Night at the Museum movie, next to the first one. The second one I didn't like very much, but this is probably one of the better ones in the trilogy here. I had a whole lot of fun with it. You get Ben Kingsley in there, or Sir Ben Kingsley in there for a scene or two, and of course you get Robin Williams in there. I think this is his last big studio movie before he passed away. It is kind of sad watching him on screen, just knowing what happened, just a little while after. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad in my opinion, because I was just like the biggest fan of Robin Williams ever since I was a kid. But on this Blu-ray here, you get like deleted scenes and alternate takes, what's it called, improving different lines and trying to like ad-lib and like mess around with each other on set, which is kind of funny, like blooper style stuff, and of course the making of the movie on here. But I just gotta say, the transfer on this movie looks absolutely amazing, which you would kind of expect with new release movies these days. But I gotta say, I would say go out there and get this movie, guys. It's a lot of fun. I like those movies that you can just put in, turn your mind off, and just have a good time with it. And that's exactly what Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb is. And next up over here from Paramount is a movie I really wanted to see, because I really like the people that are in it, the actors, and and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna have to give this one a chance, and that's called Top 5 here on Blu-ray, starring Rosario Dawson, who I've always loved since the movie Kids, and of course Clerks 2, and a whole bunch of stuff like Josie and the Pussycats, and Chris Rock here. But in this movie, Chris Rock plays this stand-up comedian slash actor who's about to come out with a new movie, but yet he's kind of tired of being pigeonholed in Hollywood for always having to be the funny guy in things. You know what I mean? He wants to be known as something else, like a real actor. You know what I mean? He wants to be known not just as the funny guy, the goofy guy. And he's out there trying to promote his new movie that he just made, like a slave movie, and he's really serious about it. But no one in Hollywood's taking the movie seriously whatsoever. And he's going on this press junket to try to promote the movie. And Rosario Dawson is one of these news reporters that's following him around town, interviewing him about his life and his movies and his alcoholism and all all his life stuff. And it's just pretty much their day and what they do and how the day unfolds for Chris Rock. And I really did kind of enjoy this one. It's one of the better Chris Rock movies in recent years. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Stand-up comedy, and what's it called? Down to Earth was a funny movie when he takes the place of like a white guy's body and stuff. And that was always one of my favorites. But if you guys see this one out there, definitely give this one a chance. It's a dialogue-heavy movie, and I really enjoyed it for that. Really funny written dialogue. It's directed and written by Chris Rock also. But that's Top 5 here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and next up from Sony is Annie here on Blu-ray, starring Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. This is of course a remake of the 1982 classic starring Albert Finney and Carol Burnett, which is the one I've always known and loved from when I was a kid. And I know Annie is also based on a comic strip from a long time ago. I can't remember the year or anything like that. But in this one, it's just pretty much a rehash of the story of Annie. But if you guys don't know what the movie Annie is, it's about this little girl named Annie, and in this one she lives in foster care. She just doesn't really like being there. She likes being out on the streets doing her own thing, until one day she almost gets hit by a car, and this one guy saves her. But come to find out, the guy that saves her is like a guy that's running for mayor of the town or something like that. And then the guy from the guy that's running for mayor kind of needs Annie so he can help, promotion, so he can maybe, get the candidate, win mayor of the town, and it's them two, striking up this relationship with one another, and that's pretty much the movie. But it's a musical, and I always love musicals. This movie did run a little bit too long though, but the thing is, I don't understand. I watched a lot of reviews when this movie came out in theaters, and a lot of people were bashing it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people I watch, like FlickPick and some of these other people, and I kind of sort of understand it, but not the way it was getting bashed. You know what I mean? Like when you go into a remake of Annie, you kind of know what you're getting into. You're getting into a musical. You're getting into something that everything is gonna be all shiny and happy at the end. I don't know why people were giving it such hate. You know what I mean? I thought it was enjoyable for a fun little family flick. But this is Annie on Blu-ray. If you guys are a fan of the movie, definitely check it out. There's a handful of special features on here, like sing-alongs and behind-the-scenes featurettes and things like that. But yeah, that's Annie here on Blu-ray. But next up over here is a movie I haven't seen since I was a kid, and I remembered loving it. You know what I mean? Watching it all the time when I was younger. And that is Beverly Hills Troop here on Blu-ray, starring Shelley Long. And it's pretty much about this rich Beverly Hills mom. She's always buying stuff. She's like, that's all she really knows how to do is spend money. But yet she's going through a divorce. Her husband doesn't really want to be with her anymore. And she's trying to deal with that. And so she decides to try to get closer to her daughter while this is all happening, and become like a troop leader for these Girl Scouts in Beverly Hills, to try to, just to be more active with her daughter and her friends and things. And it's her getting involved with this, and like trying to sell like Girl Scout cookies and stuff like that. But then her and these girls that live in Beverly Hills have no idea how to be wilderness girls, and know how to live out there in the wild and stuff like that. And it's just kind of funny in that fact. But to be honest, when I watch this movie again, it doesn't really hold up in my opinion. There's some really funny moments in there. There's some really young child stars in here that I haven't seen in a long time. Like I forgot her name now. The little girl from Small Wonder. The girl that played Harriet. The annoying next door neighbor in the Small Wonder show is in here playing a character of one of the rich preppy girls. I don't know. It is enjoyable for what it is, but it just didn't hold up to me, as it did when I was younger watching it. But the Blu-ray transfer on this is absolutely amazing. I would have never expected this movie to get a 4K transfer. You know what I mean? It looked like a different, complete movie in my opinion. And you get 3 new special features on here, some deleted scenes. You get a special feature on there with Shelley Long, the star of the film, remembering the movie and talking about her experiences on making the film. But if you're a fan of the film, it looks amazing here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and next up from 88 Films is a slasher film I've always loved ever since I was a young teenager, and that is Slaughterhouse here on Blu-ray for the very first time in HD. I even still have my original DVD that came out years and years ago. I got it at Suncoast. I don't know, I've always loved this movie, but if you've never seen this awesome classic slasher flick, it's pretty much about this old rundown, slaughterhouse in the middle of this small town, and this big corporation is moving into town. They have their own big, cleaner, more efficient slaughterhouse in town. So these guys that run this big, slaughterhouse go down to this, to the rundown one to try to offer the person money that, that resides there. But yet this old man that resides there has this crazy son. He's kind of mental. He's kind of special. He kind of makes pig noises, and pretty much wants to kill anything that comes on their land. And it's pretty much these guys trying to make an offer to buy the slaughterhouse to so they can bulldoze it and do whatever they want with it just to get them out of town. And of course there's also some crazy teens in this movie that go onto the slaughterhouse on the slaughterhouse grounds, and what happens to them when they go onto the slaughterhouse grounds. It's pretty much Buddy, the crazy mental son that lives with this old man in this old abandoned slaughterhouse, going around, killing people, whoever goes on their land, pretty much. And I've always really liked it. You know what I mean? You don't really expect big stories when it comes to movies like this, but I've always loved the practical effects that are in this movie. The kills in this movie are always memorable to me, and of course, like the pigs and how Buddy, the big hatchet wielding killer in this movie, is always just like hanging out with the pigs in the pig pen going like he thinks he's a pig himself. I've always really liked this movie. But if you guys have never seen it, definitely check it out. This Blu-ray here, a whole bunch of new special features on here. Audio commentary tracks by the director and one of the producers of the film. You get interviews in here by some of the stars and the director. And the movie here is director approved. So the director went back and like restored the movie to its best ability. So it looks even like, 9 or 10 times better than the original DVD that I have here. So if you're a fan, definitely check out this Blu-ray here. And it's also region free, so region A, B, and C. So anywhere you live, you can buy this Blu-ray in order to work in your player. And this next one right here is another slasher film but this one I've never seen before until I got this Blu-ray. I've always heard good things about it, and that is Don't Go in the Woods Alone here on Blu-ray. It's a pretty simple slasher flick about these campers going into the woods for a camping trip and getting picked off one by this crazy mountain man that lives in the woods. And that's pretty much the synopsis of the movie. But this movie is just really kind of strange because there's all these other characters in this movie that just come popping in and getting killed. Popping in and getting killed. You know what I mean? Like they don't really serve any purpose in the movie except for just, being there to get killed. Like this crazy guy in a wheelchair in the middle of the woods. This dude in a wheelchair just chilling in the woods. And then like 2 seconds later he gets killed. It's just like, what was the point of him being there? Is it just to have the high body count? But it was fun nonetheless. The movie is remastered in 2K, so it's the best possible picture you're probably ever going to get of this movie. But on this Blu-ray here, you get director commentary, a making of featurette in here, which was made during the time of the making of the film. So if you're a fan, and you love early '80s slasher flicks, give this one a watch. It's really kind of cool. All right, guys, and next up over here is Mother's Day here on Blu-ray, the Troma classic. If you guys have never seen Mother's Day, it's pretty much about these 3 college roommates going on this little camping trip in the middle of the woods, just like pretty much any old, slasher flick goes. But yet, when they go there, they come across these 2, hillbilly guys in the middle of the woods that are taking them back to Mother, because these 2 hillbilly guys are kind of crazy. They've killed people in the woods before, but yet they live with their mother in the middle of the woods, and she's like this old lady that likes to watch people get tortured, and it's pretty much them dealing with a situation that they're in with these crazy people in the woods. I've always really liked it. It's directed by Charles Kaufman, Lloyd Kaufman's brother, and I always thought he had an eye for for this film, and I've always wished he would have done a lot more than he did in his filmmaking career, because now he's a baker in San Diego. He has his own little bakery, and on this Blu-ray here, you get an introduction by him in his shooting it inside his own bakery, talking about the film, like giving a little introduction and things, and how he owns this bakery now and things. It's kind of interesting. So the transfer of the film is absolutely beautiful. A hell of a lot better than their old Troma DVD that was all kind of compressed and everything. And you also get like a special feature on here with Eli Roth talking about how it's his favorite horror movie of all time, and a handful of other special features. So if you're a fan of the film, definitely pick up the original Mother's Day here on Blu-ray. You won't be disappointed. It looks absolutely amazing. Alright guys, and next up from Paramount is a complete series of a show that I just kind of adore a little bit, just because I have all these memories watching it with my father, because my dad got the DVD sets when they came out back in the day, like seasons 1 and 2, and this is the complete series of Gomer Pyle here, USMC here on DVD. You get all 150 episodes, all 5 seasons on 24 discs here. And if you guys don't know what Gomer Pyle is, Gomer Pyle was a character originally on the Andy Griffith Show back in the day. He was kind of like, the good old boy, like the kind of bumbling, fumbling kind of, character on the Andy Griffith Show that finally got his own spin-off show off the Andy Griffith Show that lasted for 5 seasons, and it was him going into the Marine Corps, and all the hilarity that ensues from there, because he doesn't really take direction very well. You know what I mean? He's just like a good old boy, kind of just does and says whatever he feels like, and that's pretty much what the show is. And I just have these memories of watching it with my father on DVD. Now, of course, not on television because I wasn't alive in the 60s or whatever. Yeah, the 60s when the show was on. But my dad always watched it and told me about it. And then when like seasons 1 and 2 came out on DVD years ago, he's like, Brendan, you gotta check this out and watch it with me, because I know you like Andy Griffith's show, so you gotta check out this one with me. And so I had to just have some great memories watching it with him. But on the set here, you get the pilot episode that originally aired on the Andy Griffith Show, where Gomer Pyle is leaving Mayberry and going into the Marine Corps and doing his this thing as, Andy Griffith, takes him there and stuff. Interesting. There's a handful of special features like introductions by the guy that played Gomer Pyle, commentary tracks on select episodes and things by Gomer Pyle himself. But if you're a fan of the show, I just want to let you guys all know that the complete series is out in a set right now. And next up over here is a show my mom used to watch a lot back in the day. I'm not gonna lie, I never really, watched it back then. But now I got this DVD set here to talk about, and it's called Matlock's Greatest Cases. And this set here has like a few of the select, greatest cases of the whole Matlock series. I think it's like 14 of them in here, 12 or 14 episodes in here, and it's pretty much about Matlock. He's played by Andy Griffith from the Andy Griffith Show, but he's a little bit older now in this, and he plays like a criminal attorney that like defends people that may or may not have done some crimes, and it's pretty much him trying to solve it and stuff like that. It's like early court shows, kind of like how Law and Order is now, but this is how it was for like the early 90s when the show came out. Yeah, early 90s. Yeah, mid 80s to the early 90s, and it is kind of enjoyable. I popped into a handful of episodes. One of them in the set here even stars Dick Van Dyke as like a crazy killer judge that's they went around killed some people, and Matlock's trying to find out if he did it or not, if he didn't do it or did do it. You know what I mean? It's really kind of interesting, kind of a show. It does feel kind of dated, but I kind of enjoyed the episodes I've watched so far. But that's Matlock's Greatest Cases here on DVD. And next up over here from Olive Films is a show I heard about, but I've never seen because it got canceled. And that is Dads, the complete series here on DVD, starring, Giovanni Ribisi and Seth Green here. In this show, those guys, they play like video game creators or whatever, and they're out there trying to, live their lives and, become game guys. But yet their fathers are they have to move back in with them and causing all these, problems, and the hilarity ensues from there. I thought it was kind of funny, but as I was watching this, because I'd never seen it on television, I can kind of see why it got canceled, because it wasn't, up to standards. Amazingly funny. It wasn't really memorable. Like, I watched the whole first disc, and I was just like, what did I just watch? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And I was kind of just like, eh. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can actually watch any more of it, because it was just kind of dull. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't outstanding like The Big Bang Theory is or anything like that. But that's Dads, the complete series here on DVD. You get the seasons here in like 2 different discs. But if you're a fan of Seth Green or Giovanni Ribisi, you might want to check it out. But I just couldn't get into the show as much as I wanted to. Alright guys, and next up over here is an Arnold Schwarzenegger film I haven't seen in many years, and that is The Running Man here on Blu-ray. If you guys have never seen this movie before, it takes place in the far future. There's a show that's on television called The Running Man, and they always put convicted felons in this show and have them fight for their lives, and that's like the biggest show that's going on TV at the time. And in this movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays this convicted felon. He supposedly killed all these people in this big massacre, but he's been wrongfully accused, but people don't really know that, and he's being thrown into this game called The Running Man and having to fight for his life, and that's pretty much the synopsis of this movie. I've always really kind of liked this movie. It's not one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of all time. That would have to go to like Terminator and the Predator movies and stuff like that. I don't know, man. It seems really dated to me. You know what I mean? Like, some of the other movies that he's done kind of hold up a little bit better than Running Man, but it does look beautiful on Blu-ray, and you also get a new audio commentary track by the director. But that's The Running Man here on Blu-ray. If you like the movie, it does look nice in 1080p here. And next up over here is a film I've never seen before until I got this Blu-ray, but I've always been a fan of, Jerry Lewis, from like The Nutty Professor and Cinderfella and stuff like that. And this is one of his movie musicals that came out back in the 1958, and that is called Jerry Lewis and Rockabye Baby here on Blu-ray. And in this movie, it's about this one, movie star. She's about to do one of her biggest movies she's ever done in her life, and yet she's pregnant, and she doesn't want to have to tell Hollywood that she's pregnant, and she may or may not be able to do this movie, because if Hollywood finds out she's pregnant, she's having a kid, there goes her money, there goes her career, everything is going to be done for her. She kind of hides the pregnancy and kind of has her kids, and when she does, she has to figure out what she's going to do with them, because she can't, take care of them. So she goes to her old town where she used to grow up in, and find her old flame that she had when she was young, and asks him, could you watch my kids, while I'm doing this movie? And, of course he does, because Jerry Lewis has been in love with her for years and always wanted to be with her. And it's pretty much the hilarity ensues from there when he finds out that his old flame had triplets. And he has to take care of them all for, a known amount of time. And it's just the craziness that ensues from there with the little musical, sequences in there and stuff. I thought this one was very enjoyable. I always like, 50s musicals, any kind of musicals, to be honest. Like West Side Story and would have to be one of my best, and Bye Bye Birdie. And if you guys have never seen this movie before, I highly recommend it. It looks beautiful on Blu-ray, but sad to say there is no special features on it. But if you're a fan of Jerry Lewis, definitely give this one a chance. Very kind of funny and, touching at the same time. But that's Rockabye Baby here on Blu-ray. Alright guys, and next up is a movie I remember watching back when I was a young teenager also, but I was just watching it for a different reason. I was watching it thinking I was going to get a lot of nudity in it and stuff. I was like a weird, crazy teenager looking for like any movie that had nudity in it at the time. But now that I watch it after all these years, it's a lot better film than I thought it was back then. And that is called Bound here on Blu-ray, starring Joe Pantoliano, Gina Davis, and Jennifer Tilly here. This movie is pretty much about these two women who live in the same building with one another until they, one of them lives with their boyfriend who's in the mob and killing people and doing all this crazy stuff, and the other one lives next door until Jennifer Tilly's character, the one that lives with her boyfriend that's a mobster, gets kind of tired of the lifestyle and the craziness that she sees and has to endure week in and week out with her boyfriend's lifestyle. She goes next door to visit her neighbor just to say hello, and it's them striking up this relationship with one another and kind of sort of falling in love with one another, and then coming together to try to figure out how they're going to take down Jennifer Tilly's boyfriend and take down the mob and maybe even rob the mob. And that's pretty much a synopsis of the movie, the craziness that ensues from that. I really did enjoy this movie a lot more than I did back in the day because I was just watching it for that one reason. But now, man, it was just a really well done, well executed film, very entertaining, looks beautiful on Blu-ray, but sad to say there really is no new special features on this disc, which I was really hoping to get like a new commentary or something on here, because I've been a big fan of Jennifer Tilly for years, since like Bride of Chucky and House Arrest from back in the day when she played one of the mothers in that movie. I think like the mother of Jennifer Love Hewitt back in that movie. But if you've never seen the movie Bound before, very, very well done, entertaining flick. I can't really say any much more about it. I just really like this one. And next up over here is a movie I didn't like very much. From the premise, it sounded like it was going to be decent, and it's from Lionsgate, and it's called Vice here on Blu-ray, starring Thomas Jane and Bruce Willis. And in this movie, Bruce Willis plays this guy that created this resort where people can go and act out their wildest fantasies and do the craziest stuff that any person can think of, and because it's all run by AI and artificial intelligence. Like all the people that are there, that work there are like robots and stuff, except for the humans that go there to act out their wildest fantasies, until one of these robots or AI starts to have memory flashbacks and starts to like not really act like a artificial anymore, and then she kind of goes on the run and goes out into the real world, and it's pretty much Bruce Willis trying to get her back any way he knows how, and yet Thomas Jane's there playing a detective trying to figure out what just happened, at this supposed resort, and why is Bruce Willis not saying the complete truth of what's happening. And that's pretty much the synopsis of the movie. It is a watchable flick. It just wasn't amazing, and it didn't really keep my interest. You know what I mean? Like I kept like kind of dozing off and going on the computer and stuff as I was watching it. It wasn't one of those ones that had me on the edge of my seat and I had to find out what was going to happen, kind of thing. But what do you expect from another straight-to-DVD, Bruce Willis movie? Because that seems like what he's doing these days. Thomas Jane did a pretty good job in this movie. I always kind of liked him, but this movie, guys, I would say skip it. It wasn't really that good at all. And it's called Son of a Gun here on Blu-ray. It's about this young kid named Junior. He's like 19 years old. He's in jail for the very first time for doing something stupid, but yet when he's in jail, he finds out about Ewan McGregor's character. He's like a really badass criminal, and him and Junior bust out of jail with a couple of others and go on this heist to steal this gold from this one site, to make some extra cash, and all the craziness that ensues from there. I thought this was a decent crime thriller. It had a couple of good moments in there. Would I say it's an amazing movie? No, not at all. But it is from one of the first crime thrillers of the year from Australia. And it is in English, so you can understand everything people are saying. It looks nice on Blu-ray. I thought the performances in this movie were decent. But on this Blu-ray here, you just get a making of special featurette and a commentary track. If you like Ewan McGregor, give it a chance. It was actually kind of well done. But that's Son of a Gun here on Blu-ray. And this next one up over here, I don't even really know what to say about it. It stars Jason Schwartzman, who I liked ever since like Rushmore and stuff like that, and Elizabeth Moss. And it's called Listen Up Philip here on DVD from Cinedigm. It's pretty much about this writer played by Jason Schwartzman. His new book is about to hit the streets, and he's all excited about it. But yet he's kind of a douche. He's kind of acting like an asshole to everyone that he knows: his girlfriends, his ex-girlfriends, his people in his life. And it's pretty much him and what happens to him when his book is about to get published, and how it affects his life and the people around him and stuff like that. And that's all I can really say about the movie. It was really it kind of felt like a hipster movie. You know what I mean? Like a movie that hipsters would like. And I don't like the way the movie was shot. You know what I mean? It kind of felt like a lot of the shots in the movie were like this. You know what I mean? Like all up close on people's faces, and like really kind of like they need to back the camera up a little bit. I know it's just someone, different people's film style, but it just really took me out of the movie, and I really kind of wanted to like it, but it was just too artsy fartsy, too hipsterish, for my opinion here. But that's Listen Up Philip here on DVD. I say look at the trailer for it on YouTube and get your opinion from that, but I just couldn't get into this one at all. Alright guys, last but not least from Disney is Into the Woods here on Blu-ray, starring Meryl Streep, Johnny Depp, Emily Blunt, and a whole bevy of others. This movie right here is actually based on a Stephen Sondheim play that starred Bernadette Peters back in the early 90s that was on Broadway. And the cool thing is about this movie is that Stephen Sondheim himself even approved the making of this film as the whole process was going on. And if you guys don't know what Into the Woods is, it's a movie that mixes a lot of different fairy tales all into one movie. It's pretty much about these two bakers in this small town that are barren, that can't have any children, and this one witch that lives next door, has cursed the family for all these years, and that's one of the main reasons why they can't have a kid. And the witch comes into the bakery one day saying that, and saying, hey, if you ever want to have kids, you're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to go into the woods for me and get the cape red as blood, the cow, white as milk. You know what I mean? Like these different things they have to go into the woods and get for her if they want to have kids, and all the stuff they have to get is like Little Red, Red Riding Hood's cape, Jack and the Beanstalk's cow, and like a whole bunch of different fairy tale things. And when they go into the woods, they experience all this craziness, and you even get Johnny Depp in there in the movie playing a wolf. But this movie is just basically a whole big musical, and I love, like I've said in this video before, I love movie musicals like Rent, Hairspray. But if you guys are into musicals, you guys might dig this one. I thought this movie ran a little like half hour too long. Like I really did love the first half of this movie, just the last half kind of sort of dragged in my opinion here. But on this Blu-ray here, you get behind the scenes special features, talking to Emily Blunt and Meryl Streep, on the making of the film, how excited they were being part of this musical. And you also get a deleted scene or deleted song that Stephen Sondheim wrote himself, or original song for the movie. They had to get cut out, of the film for pacing reasons. But you get that in here as a deleted scene, which is kind of interesting. But if you guys have never seen Into the Woods before and you guys like movie musicals, I definitely recommend it, man. I enjoy musicals, so I liked it. But guys, that's all I have to show you guys for this update today. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, letting me know what you guys thought about what I talked about today, and I'll see you next time.